Oh, and thank you so much for joining us for Coffee Conversations today. Today, we want to give an update about our RISE summer programming that will be taking place in Cumberland County Schools. We have with us today Dr. Malata Hill, Assistant Superintendent of Elementary Instruction. Jennifer Lloyd, who's an K-5 ELA curriculum specialist, as well as a program manager for the RISE program, and Dr. Jane Fields, Assistant Superintendent of Secondary Instruction. Thank you all so much for joining us and sharing this great information about what we have coming for the summer for students for Cumberland County Schools. So let's go ahead and get started. What is the RISE program, and how did this program become an option for students in Cumberland County Schools?
Well, Kenya, thank you so much for this opportunity and for an opportunity for us to come together. There's been a lot of energy, a lot of discussion about what is CCS RISE 2021. Please know that it is a K-12 mandated summer learning program according to House Bill 82. It requires in-person learning for our students for all kindergarten through 12th grade, and it's for students identified as at risk for academic failure. You know, we're just coming off of our pandemic and we're trying to recover learning loss. The legislation also is very purposeful in saying that it's going to be a minimum of 5 hours a day instruction, but the students will also get to have a period of physical activity, and all students love physical education. We are providing 6.25 hours daily for our students in K-12. We are going to provide meal services as well as transportation on a daily basis, Monday through Thursday. We're looking at 6 weeks of instruction that equates to 150 hours of instruction.
That is great information. So students will have an experience very similar to their traditional classroom day, where they receive lunch, they have activity, they have the opportunity to learn materials and experience that day during the summer hours. So that is excellent. So what are the options for RISE? We know our students have had virtual learning due to COVID. So will RISE offer face-to-face and virtual, or how will that work?
So Joaquinia, we are, as a part of our RISE K-12 Comprehensive Summer Learning Program, we actually have 2 components. The first component is what Dr. Hill was just speaking about, was academic intervention. That's that 150 hours that we're offering in person. And then we also have Acceleration for All, which is our component 2, which is a virtual only option. And so there are different time periods for each of these components. Our academic intervention, which is offered in person, begins next week. It'll run those 2 3-week sessions. So that'll start next week and go until July 29th. Our component 2, Acceleration for All, which is a virtual only option, which is open to all of our students, K-12 in Cumberland County Schools, that begins July 12th through the 29th. And so they have multiple opportunities to participate either in academic intervention or they can do both, also participate in Acceleration for All.
Okay, so again, we want to make sure that we highlight what the timeline is. So we have multiple components to RISE, but when does it start? When does component 1 start? When does component 2 start?
And I'll reiterate what Ms. Lloyd, I think she just shared those dates. But once again, component 1 will begin on next Monday, June 7th. And the first session of component 1, we've divided into 2 3-week sessions. And the first session will begin on June 7th and conclude on June 24th, and then resume again July 12th and conclude the 29th. Component 2, which she described as Acceleration for All, is 1 3-week session that is offered virtually from July 12th through the 29th. And if I could just include one other important date, we have open house that is going to take place this Thursday, June 3rd, from 4 to 6 p.m.
Thank you for sharing that. We know everyone is trying to keep their calendars in line, know when things are happening. So there will be an open house. Then the first component starts June the 7th. Depending on which component they're in, they will know the breakdown of when it starts and ends for component 1, component 2. Okay, so we have that piece. What is the difference between component 1, academic intervention, and component 2, acceleration for all?
Ms. George, thank you so much for that question. Please know that there are a lot of moving parts, but we're going to try to simplify and to express right now the difference between component 1 as well as component 2. When we look at component 1 in alignment with our House Bill 82, it will serve as academic intervention for our students in grades kindergarten through 12, and it's by invitation only. Those students will have the opportunity to be engaged for 6 weeks of instruction, equating to 150 hours. We're going to also have, as Ms. Lloyd and Dr. Fields have stated for us already, 2 3-week sessions, and we're going to provide for in-person, face-to-face learning. We have 22 learning sites. Child nutrition as well as transportation services will be provided to all 22 sites. When we transition and look at component 2, it will be available for any student in our district K-12. So if they're involved in component 1 and they want to be very adventurous, they can sign up for component 2 as well. We know that for those 3 weeks of component 2, July the 12th through July 29th, it will be asynchronous content as well as live support that will be offered for a standards-based preview of the student's upcoming grade level, and also provide a review of the grade that the student was in for this past school year 2021. Component 2, the major difference is it's only in a virtual format only.
Thank you for sharing those differences, understanding that there are moving pieces. So families may want to get some clarification, but I think that really helped a lot for us to know the difference between the two, and that there is a transportation option for families that have been invited to participate in component 1. So are families able to sign up for both components? If they want to be adventurous and get ahead, are they able to sign up for both components?
So yes, they are absolutely able to sign up for both. And even though component 1 is by invitation only, we do also have a wait list on our district website that if their child did not receive an invitation to participate in academic intervention component 1, that they can go to the district website and complete the link there to add their student to the wait list. And then upon program space availability, we will reach out and add them if we're able to. They can also go to that same website under RISE, the page for RISE, and they will see not only the link for the wait list there, but below they will also see the registration link for acceleration for all, so that we can get them signed up, so that we can send them information and give them access to all of the asynchronous content and the schedule of live support that would be provided in there. So if they're already signed up and received their confirmation to participate in academic intervention and they want to register to also participate in acceleration for all, that is absolutely up to them. They can do that, because remember, a lot of the acceleration for all, even though it does offer live support sessions, it is a lot of asynchronous work that the children can choose to do on their own time, on their own schedule.
Okay, so just a clarifying question. For families who were invited, or families who were not invited, who are interested but don't decide until Friday that they actually want to sign up for RISE, is registration required, or is the wait list required for families who may be interested in participating?
So for academic intervention, they must complete the wait list. So that is required. And we are leaving that open until session 2 begins. So it will stay open until July. And so, yes, they do need to complete that. Is also just the clarification about, is registration required for acceleration for all? And the answer is yes, we do want them to register so that we can communicate to them where to find the content, what the schedule is, all of those things. We're going to be posting a lot of information on the district website, but we want parents and families to go ahead and complete that registration for acceleration for all so that we have an awareness and can provide the best support and instruction that we possibly can in acceleration for all. So yes, we do want them to complete that registration, not only for the wait list to be a part of academic intervention to get on that list if they're not already there, but also if they want to participate in acceleration for all, to click that link and fill out that information as well.
Okay. And Jennifer, just one more question for you. How do we know, or how do families know if their child has been invited to participate in component 1 academic intervention?
So they will know that they've been invited because they previously received an invitation starting on April 29th, but we had multiple invitations going out since then. This past weekend, likely they would have received it in their email yesterday. Beginning Friday and up until yesterday, the students should have received a confirmation email. And that confirmation email tells the students and parents which site they've signed up for, which session, just confirming you picked session 2 or you picked session 1 and 2. This is your RISE site assignment. And this is your site-based administrator that you report to or can ask questions of. So all of that went to the student's CCS email. If they were accepted and chosen off of the wait list, or even if they completed the invitation, this was their confirmation email that they received. We also sent a parent link call out. So they should have received that parent link call to say, hey, mom or dad, go check Jennifer's CCS student email, and there you'll see the confirmation. So if they did not receive that confirmation in their email and they did not receive that the parent link call, it just means that they've not necessarily been added to academic intervention yet, but we're continuing to add as space is available.
Okay, thank you so much. Dr. Fields, you mentioned earlier about our open house. For families that are participating in component 1 academic intervention, can you give us like a breakdown of the open house?
Yes, it is going to take place this Thursday, June 3rd from 4 to 6, and it's going to take place virtually. And it's going to serve as an opportunity to really familiarize families with processes and procedures associated with drop-off and pickup and bus transportation. So they'll have plenty of information shared with them, but also be able to ask any questions that they may have in regards to the program that their children are getting ready to participate in for the next 3 to 6 weeks.
Okay, excellent. So we know things are fluid and changing, but at least that gives them an opportunity to have some conversation and have questions answered if they have any. How will families find out additional information, Dr. Hill? Who do they contact? Where will they find this information out?
Please, we invite all of our families to go to the CCS RISE link on our main website page. That's where our landing page is, where all of our information is going to be housed and located. Please know that we have established a hotline number, area code 910-475-1291. Area code 910-475-1291. That will be available for parents to call in, families to call in for any questions. Please know we will be communicating through the students' email addresses as well. And please, any of the school sites or just call Central Services. We are here to offer any type of customer support, any type of issues that may arise, and to address any concerns or questions that may come up as we venture into the CCS RISE 2021 RISE program.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for joining us and sharing this valuable information. We know this is a great opportunity for our students to prepare for the great comeback of our 2021-2022 school year. So thank you, Dr. Hill. Thank you so much, Dr. Fields, and thank you so much, Ms. Lloyd, and for your work with our RISE programming. Thank you, families, for joining us. And please use our website and that hotline for additional information about RISE. Again, thank you for joining us and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.